Hello, this is Andy Staples, the golf course architect responsible for our upcoming golf course renovation. This is hole number 1, perhaps the hole with the most opportunity for upgrade and a sure candidate for the most improved hole on the course after our renovation is complete. We begin with lowering and shifting the tees slightly to the right, including the addition of a new forward tee, which provides a better angle, playability, and even a view into the hole. You'll notice the addition of native landscape planting and coastal Bermuda being introduced along the right-hand slope. The largest change on the hole comes in the landing area, where it will be widened by filling along the left and a fair amount of regrading to facilitate a softer slope, better playability, and better cart access. This new fairway will offer a much better introduction to the first hole, calling for a few more shot options, including the possibility of a driver for some players. Most of the existing water feature below remains, however, areas around the water will be raised and adjusted to again improve playability and access to the new green. The green slides to the right a few yards, which will soften the dogleg and make a more reasonable angle of approach. It will now sit along an edge, creating a bit more excitement while allowing for players to run the ball into the green if needed. The putting surface will have a variety of pin locations and be protected with a bunker on the right, a back bunker on the left, and a sharp fall-off behind, creating a testy shot to a back pin. This green gives the players the first glimpse into a more classically styled design, both in shape, size, and contouring, that will be found throughout the course. The second hole on the course will remain a stout right-to-left par 4 that places a premium on a good drive. The tee complex will be renovated and lowered, with the current blue and red tees moving up slightly for a better chance for those to make it home in 2 strokes. A new fairway bunker is added on the left to protect the inside of the dogleg, while the fairway is expanded along the entire right side to provide increased playability, but leaving a longer shot to the green. This entire fairway is likely to be regraded to remove the surrounding mounding and add variety in the player's stance. This allows us to create a bit of strategy on the ground, with different slopes depending on the distance that you hit your drive. The approach to the new green complex will be set up a bit proud, creating a better view to the green, and will be angled against the natural bend in the hole, setting up a left to right shot to a green protected by 2 sand bunkers and added shortgrass chipping swales surrounding the green. The green contouring is meant to provide a variety in difficulty and shot values depending on the pin location for the day. Bite off more than you can chew, and it could be costly. This is a great example of how angles combined with firm, closely mown turf can simply improve a course's strategy and interest for all skill levels. Our third hole is our first par 3 and begins what I think will be a pretty good collection of one-shot holes that are diverse, fun to play, and very memorable. The hole loosely follows the philosophy of a traditional Redan hole, where the original is found at North Berwick in Scotland, which starts with a mid to long length tee shot to a sharply angled green from right to left and is sloped from front to back. The tees shift slightly to the right to set up the existing lake on a little bit more of an angle to the line of play. A traditional Redan carry bunker is added along the right to catch your eye from the tee, which should then direct your view back towards the green. A slight ridge is added on the front right to aid and to help running shots that just miss this front bunker. The green is set at a similar elevation, but it is pushed back and left a bit and turned to bring the lake into play. The fronting left sand bunker along the expanded lake edge reinforces the strong angle of the green complex and protects the shots hit closely to the left portion of the green. The entire right side of the green will be sloped towards the left, with a really good pin location back left. The right side of the complex is protected by a hidden bunker and a closely mown chipping area that will repel balls hit too strong to the right. The expanded fairway area on the right and over the green will be moderately sloped and will allow for a variety of recovery shots from a wedge, a hybrid, and even a putter. A 3 on this hole will be a very good score. The stout par 4 fourth will be another hole that involves a bit of reshaping and some important modifications to the lake edges, the fairway landing area, and the green complex. First, the tees will be completely reshaped, lowered, and angled to direct the eye to the right, and then back to the left, to present an angled bite off as much as you can chew type lake edge. The beginning portion of the lake on the left, along with the lake on the right, are both adjusted by filling and expanding to create better playability and aesthetics from all tees. The main landing area for most players will be wider, while as the hole begins to turn back to the green, the fairway is narrowed and sloped to defend against the bigger hitters. A grassy hollow and a sand bunker are placed along the left side of the lake, while the trees on the right remain, both to place a premium on a well-struck drive. The green is moved back and to the right to gain a few extra yards and to reinforce the need to challenge the lake on the left off the tee to attack this pin from the left side of the fairway. A slight ridge will extend from the fairway approach and run into the putting surface, and the green will remain open to running shots. The green complex sits a bit proud and angled slightly from right to left with a fall-off behind. 2 sand bunkers will protect the front edges of the green. The putting surface will be built to allow for this green to be set up with a variety of pin locations and options depending on the wind of the day and the chosen overall yardage of the hole. This strong par 4 is meant to provide interest and challenge halfway through our front 9. The 5th hole, a par 4, is another hole that has great potential for improvement and will be dramatically better and more interesting after our renovation is complete. The tees are shifted to the left and raised slightly to provide as much view into the fairway as possible. The middle of the fairway will be regraded and lowered, perhaps as much as 5 feet, to not only create that view towards the landing area, but provide fill to create a ridge along the right side. The impact of trees on both the left and the right will remain, but be thinned in some key areas. This fairway reshaping will provide a right-to-left bend strategy without the need for fairway bunkering. As the hole turns towards the green, the entire right side along the property will be reshaped for drainage and to create landforms that should be visible from the tee. The green will be angled strongly from left to right and is planned to be void of sand bunkers. The putting surface is raised up a few feet, and surrounding short grass will protect errant shots. This green will allow for run-up shots, along with rewarding the aerial game, depending on the pin location for the day. I love this hole, and it proves that creative shaping, contrasted with playing angles and short grass, can provide interest, challenge, and diversity to a generally benign existing hole. Our 6th hole is the course's first par 5, and a long one at that. The focus of the design will be to improve both strategy and maintenance, placing a specific intention on improving the second shot landing area and the approach to the green. This hole can be described like a boomerang, a hole popularized by Perry Maxwell, the Golden Age designer of Colonial, Southern Hills, and other classic courses. We'll begin by shortening this hole slightly, not only to make room for the new first green behind us, but also to make this hole a bit more strategic and interesting, both in terms of the tee shot, but also the second landing area layup. The tees remain in generally a similar location, with new forward tees added closer to the beginning of the fairway. I hate to discuss the merits around a golf hole based on a cart path, but by relocating this path to the right side, it not only improves the hole's entire strategy, making it more natural and playable, but it will also improve the entire hole's drainage and create a more maintainable and reasonable transition to the exposed rock ledge along the right side of the fairway. A new sand bunker is placed to protect the left side corner, and the small pot bunker on the right will be removed. The left and right side of the hole will be reshaped to introduce a more natural transition, which will leave room for additional native landscape in coastal Bermuda. Much of the work on this hole will involve the recontouring of the second landing area fairway, which includes 3 new sand bunkers, grassy hollows, and again a smooth transition to the new cart path. This adjustment will make the second shot more interesting and thought-provoking, as opposed to just hitting it as far as you can. The green remains on a similar elevation, however it will be shifted slightly to the left and expanded, and angled from right to left to promote running shots into the green. 1 sand bunker protects the shots that miss to the left, and additional short grass and a grassy hollow will make a miss long and left a difficult recovery. Overall, this hole is a great example of the benefits of the renovation and how infrastructure, drainage, and the priority of strategy over sheer length will take Mira Vista to another level of golf experience in the area. Hole number 7 is the front nine's second par 3, and it's a hole that is going to be vastly improved from the current one. When you think of short iron pitch style par 3 holes, one might think of number 7 at Pebble Beach, number 15 at Cypress Point, or the island green number 17 at TPC Sawgrass. Our little number 7 will have its own flair, but will remind many of these noteworthy holes from across the country, and it will be one of the many memorable holes on the newly renovated course. The tees shift to the left and will get tucked closer to the property line, which will direct play more towards the middle of the lake. You'll notice the lake is expanded towards the tee and to the north, which will cover the front of the green and now wrap around the entire green complex. This work will allow us to push the green out into the lake to a newly created peninsula of land that will call for a forced carry to a green that's going to sit a lot more naturally into the water. The green will be surrounded by mown turf along the water's edge, but don't worry, a shorter tee will be provided to the left to allow for those in need of a little assistance to get over the water. A fairway bailout area behind the green and on the left is intentionally left for players choosing to err away from the water. A nasty little sand bunker is also shaped in right over the green to provide variety and strategy, which will fit nicely into the expanded shortgrass area that runs directly into the number 8 tee complex behind. The putting surface will be designed to place a premium on landing onto the correct portion of the green, using the water in the front and the chipping area behind as the main drivers for slopes that will make putting this green very interesting. This is going to be a fun hole to play. The 8th hole, a par 4, will play very similar to the current hole. However, there'll be a few minor but pretty impactful improvements to make this hole play a bit more strategic and interesting in a couple of key areas. First, the tee complex will be rebuilt, shifting it to the right, lowering it slightly to adjust the line of play to be a bit more perpendicular to the lake edge along the right, which will make the tee shot a bit more comfortable for all players. New forward tees are going to be added along the left, and the right fairway edge at the beginning, just across the lake, is planned to be expanded and pushed into the water to provide a bit more room for the landing area. The existing sand bunker on the left is removed and replaced with 2 new sand bunkers added at strategic locations for a variety of driving distances, and to challenge those that chicken out and hit it away from the water. These 2 new sand bunkers also form a bit of an echelon line of bunkering from left to right when viewed, with the new sand bunker on the left side of the new green. The 2 oaks on the right are to remain to protect the long ball hit along the right side of the fairway, which is going to be the preferred angle approach to this green. The green complex is set at a similar location and elevation. However, the putting surface will be rotated slightly to a more right to left angle, which will not only bring the lake edge along the right more into play, but it will create a new middle to back portion of the green with some very interesting pins protected by a new sand bunker on the left and a shortgrass fall off behind. Shortgrass, sand, and the water's edge will make this approach and subsequent recovery shot a testy endeavor. I can see this hole playing a bit more difficult around the green. We're going to have some fun with this one. The 9th hole, a par 4, is the finishing hole on the front 9 and represents another challenge in the project to make this hole more interesting, playable, and equitable for all skill levels. The first adjustment comes with a redesign of the tee complex, including a new back tee along the back and right, and a reorientation of the rest of the tees, including a new forward tee. This will allow all players of all abilities to get the ball as far up the hill on the drive as possible. A series of new aiming bunkers are added through the fairway to guide the eye around to the right towards the green, and depending on what tee you play, these hazards just might come into play. A small bunker is added on the left to signify the left edge of the fairway and to keep the big ballers honest. The fairway is expanded a bit along the right, and new mounding, grass swales, and a new sand bunker are added to catch the longer drives hit too far and for those trying to carry the corner. The green is pushed up the hill as far as possible and raised almost 10 feet to gain a few extra yards, and also to provide a new look approach. This will play now uphill to a partially hidden green. These adjustments will provide a bit of variety and add a type of shot not currently found on the front 9, and perhaps also a bit of a precursor to what players will find on the back 9. The green is protected by 2 fronting sand bunkers, a small sand bunker behind, and the left side of the green is intentionally left open to allow for running shots. Since the green will mostly be hidden from view, you'll notice shortgrass slopes surrounding the putting surface to assist in funneling the ball back on the green. One of the most fun aspects of building a really cool set of greens is to add subtle backstops and slopes to aid in both approaches and recovery shots. These details are not only fun to build, they are key in developing a course that members love playing day after day, and I think the new 9th green will do just that. Hole number 10, a par 4, begins the course's journey into the back 9. To me, these series of well-routed holes through really cool, rolling land are what really makes Mira Vista shine. I really think this back 9 should be recognized as one of the best in the entire region. The new 10th hole gives the feeling of a grip it and rip it type tee shot. and the entire hole has been designed to provide some additional thought and strategy while still allowing for players to swing away to use the downhill landing area to the fullest. You'll need the added distance from the tee as this hole has been extended by almost 40 yards. The tees are planned to be lowered and shifted slightly to the right, along with some regrading, to provide a better view of the hole and into the landing area. The cart path gets rerouted along the right to provide better access and to free up some space on the left closer to the green. You'll notice native landscape will also be introduced on both sides of the hole. 2 bunkers are added on the left along with a bit more reshaping to provide some definition and perhaps an aiming point from the tee. The existing bunker on the right is removed and a new bunker is added about 20 yards closer to the green. The stream channel along the left of the hole near the green will be cleaned up and then extended closer to the tee. This is going to aid in drainage and it will also keep the long baller honest. This extension will fit nicely into the existing contour and provide a bit of natural texture into an otherwise fairly wide open landing zone. The green complex is pushed back towards the existing 11 tees and will be designed to allow for running shots from right to left. 2 new sand bunkers are added along the left to catch shots hit offline towards the stream channel. And a new bunker is added on the right to further protect the approach and forms a really cool back right pin location. This new hole should set the tone for the back 9, creating a greater challenge for the better player while rewarding thoughtful and well-struck shots for all levels of golfer. In the end, this is a hole that will be viewed as a major improvement over the current layout. The 11th hole remains a par 5 and is probably my favorite hole on the course. I like to think a good design has multiple signature holes, as they say. However, this hole should be considered one of the best on the entire course. The tees are shifted to the right to provide more of an angle towards the left, reinforcing the left-to-right nature of the hole, much like the boomerang concept we spoke about on hole number 6. The existing bunker on the right is rebuilt and made a bit smaller, while the other existing bunker on the left through the fairway is eliminated, and the fairway will be expanded to get as close to the crossing stream channel as possible. As the hole turns to the right, intentional elements are used to reinforce the strategy of laying up versus going for the green. The new design will make the left side much more friendly and open for those not able to consider going directly for the green, and make this area a far more desirable angle of approach as opposed to going towards the right. We'll then reshape and detail the existing stream channel to not only be more natural in look and feel, but more playable along the edges. Finally, the right side of the hole will be left open. However, the turf will be converted from the current fairway to now rough cut. This adjustment will place a premium on a solid strike towards the green and will catch the poorly struck running shot, as it will now get hung up instead of running closer to the green. The green is moved slightly back and to the left and will be protected by 2 sand bunkers and expanded shortgrass. Any ball hit too far left or long should now run out and most likely find the hazard. It is intentional to make this approach from the right a bit more of a challenge and allow players to weigh their options when choosing what line of attack they take to reach the green. As a golfer who loves match play as opposed to stroke play, I can't wait to play this hole. It embodies a risk-reward style of design, and we have to thank the original architects for finding this hole out in the field. I'm just hoping to polish it up a bit more and make it even more fun and heroic to play. The 12th hole, the back nine's first par 3, in my opinion, is a sneaky good hole. It's a hole that's routed to help transition the steep topography from the lowland area of the 11th green and on up to the elevated 13th tee. Tom Weiskopf, your original designer, was quoted as suggesting the original design of our 12th hole was inspired by the postage stamp par 3, the 8th hole at Royal Troon in Scotland. This is an interesting take in my opinion, since our hole plays a lot longer and way more uphill than that original, which is downhill and a short 123 yards. But nonetheless, our hole will be greatly improved and we'll make a new hole all unto ourselves. We do this first by lowering the tees by roughly 4 to 5 feet to bring them more in line with the original surrounding grades, but also to emphasize the uphill nature of the routing. The green will be set at a similar grade, but since the tees will be lowered, it will create a bit of an uphill shot and the green surface will be slightly obscured from view. However, the new surrounding sand bunkers, both on the left and the right, will provide the necessary definition for this uphill approach. There'll be another larger fronting sand bunker added, which will be set off a little bit from the green and a little right of center, which will make this shot look a lot more difficult than it really is. Carry this bunker and you'll be up onto the green. Now back to Tom Weiskopf. He was also quoted as saying that his preferred miss at the original postage stamp was to the left bunker to have his best chance at saving par. I like that idea, and we'll use it as inspiration for sloping the green pretty strongly from right to left, which will make a miss left and a recovery from the left much better than the right. This creates variety and challenge in all the recovery shots for those who miss the green off the tee. All in all, this par 3 will be viewed as a strong hole where 3 is a good score, and it will be one that provides some needed variety in the collection of par 3s across the course. The 13th hole, a par 4, is yet another elevated tee across the course that will play down to a low landing area, and then of course dog-legging back to the left. I guess my main complaint with this hole is the disrupted view of the fairway from the tee, and the awkward distance to the corner that is protected by a dense series of trees along the left and a severe grassy slope and mounding and a sand bunker on the right. Kind of a hard, awkward tee shot. So to begin with, the tees are going to be lowered and shifted slightly to the left. This small but impactful move works a bit better with the land and will allow for better viewing to the landing area, especially along the right-hand side. Interestingly, if you stand on the current cart path along the left and look towards the fairway, you're going to see what I mean. The largest improvement of this hole comes with the regrading of the landing area and the hillside directly adjacent to the fairway along the right, which will remove the awkward slopes, remove the sand bunkers and the grass mounding. You'll see an addition of native plantings and coastal Bermuda once completed. The addition of one new sand bunker on the left not only protects the corner, but should promote more play to the right. You're going to want to avoid this bunker at all costs. All these adjustments are meant to provide much more playability in the fairway, more strategy, and just overall make much more sense. For as weak as the current tee shot might be, the approach into this green actually is one of the best shots on the course. A really good look into the green. The green will stay roughly at the same elevation, but be pushed back slightly and angled from right to left. The green approach will remain open to running shots and be sloped in a manner to aid balls that are hit in from the right. 2 sand bunkers are set along the left side of the green to catch offline shots that are hit too far, but also to reinforce the dramatic nature of this hard-angled right-to-left shot. The back left pin is going to be really good. I see this green to have some good slope in it and be another example of how thoughtful design based on hitting good golf shots will make this and all other greens on the course much, much better. Our 14th hole, a par 4, begins the course's stretch of finishing holes of which I think can be considered not only the best run of holes on the course, but perhaps one of the best collection in the entire area. Shot variety and challenge, strategic merit and memorability all come to mind, and the 14th is a prime opportunity to really bring these philosophies home. The tees are lowered and shifted right to flatten out the dogleg and to provide a bit more view along the left side of the hole, which is now mostly hidden from view due to the left hillside and existing tree cover. The tee shot should offer at least 2 shot choices. Aim out to the right to avoid the danger on the left, but contend with the 2 new sand bunkers. Or take an aggressive line down the left where the fairway will vary in width based on the length of your tee shot, and bring in the new renovated creek feature. It's intended to provide the best line into the green from the left, so the players should be tempted to take an aggressive line to gain this advantage. The work will showcase this natural creek feature with new shaping and expanded rough grass along the edges, and you'll notice the removal of an existing sand bunker on the left. The green will be pushed back and left slightly to gain a few extra yards and to again bring the creek feature into play. You'll notice a boomerang-style green shape protected by one sand bunker on the left and another one on the right. This layout of hazards will certainly make the pin location an important factor on how you approach the green. The putting surface will have a series of different sections and internal feeder slopes to work the ball around the hazards and into certain areas of the green, both on the approach and on recovery shots. For being a short hole, our new design is going to make you think from the beginning off the tee and on through the green. And yes, you could say I'm planning to make you earn your par on this hole. The 15th hole, our last par 3 on the course, is going to be an exciting hole to build and should be another candidate for most improved hole on the course. If nothing else, it is going to be a hole of striking aesthetics and strategy and interesting ground contouring, much different from the current hole that you see today. The hole will play in a similar direction, however, the tees will be expanded and angled towards the left, closer to the existing creek. This adjustment in angle is an important move to show off the new bunker layout, fairway, and green location. The new shaping of features will highlight the right to left tilt of the natural ground, and the 2 new sand bunkers will be visual cues for how the hole should be played. These dramatic 4 bunkers are pulled some 40 yards from the putting surface and are set into a strong slope. Grading will occur along the right to help along shots flared to the right and could be utilized in running shots that just clear these bunkers. These added slopes are meant to create a bit of rub of the green, depending how your ball is struck from the tee. The entire left side of the fairway and the entire green complex will be shifted to the left, closer to the creek. This move allows for players to be faced with an option of an aggressive line towards the hazard on the left, or play a more conservative approach towards the bailout area and hillside on the right. The green will be angled a bit against the natural slope, running from left to right, and be protected along the left with a series of 3 sand bunkers. These bunkers are meant to catch shots hit too far left before running into the creek. You're welcome. A large shortgrass chipping area is added on the right, which is not meant to be an easy up and down. This area will have a variety of lies and be used with a variety of club types. However, the green surface should slope away from the player, making this recovery a testy up and down. This is setting up to be one of my favorites, if not my favorite par 3 on the course. I love the new bunker layout and how this hole will look from the tee. I cannot wait to hit a running shot from the right down to the left onto the green. This is going to be a really fun hole to play. Hole number 16 remains a short drive and pitch par 4, which many of you may know became a concept of the original designers Tom Weiskopf and Jay Morrish that they repeated on many of their courses around the country. The hole that immediately comes to mind is the drivable 17th hole at TPC Scottsdale in Arizona. The main work on this hole involves the reshaping of the entire tee complex to lower the elevation, widen the teeing grounds for expanded options of angles of play, and the removal and replacement of the cart path on the right and the left, all to provide better access and flow from the 15th green. The fairway slope and contouring remains the same, however there will be 2 newly shaped sand bunkers added, one short right along the creek, and the other a bit longer on the left that will cover the entrance of the green. These hazards are meant to provide visual definition depending on where the player intends to hit their drive. The risk-reward nature of the hole really comes out in the decision-making from the tee and what type of approach is desired, and the strategy of these hazards really support that, especially that bunker short left in front of the green. The fairway will be expanded along the entire right side and on up closer to the green. This will now bring into play a large low area just right of the green along the creek. This feature will provide sloped lies for shots into the green and recovery shots that miss the green, and bring the creek more into play for those shots missed right, especially for those going for the green from the tee. The green will be softened and sloped a bit more towards the player. The redesigned surface will bring a number of different strategies into play based on the pin location of the day. The green shape will definitely be unique and be surrounded with shortgrass. There will be one small sand bunker behind, probably not very visible, but very much into play. I can see this green to be considered small and wicked, and have some really good pin locations. Since this hole is not only short, but one that is designed to create a dramatic finish to the course, I'm ready to put some teeth into this green. I can tell you this, if you miss on the wrong side, you'll be scrambling for an up and down. The 17th hole, known as a short, reachable par 5 by most of the better players, well actually most call it a par 4, is a hole that represents one of the largest playability discrepancies on the entire course, and we're planning to address this in our new design. First, the tees are shifted left to open up the view towards the right side along the OB and the homes. We're going to grab a few extra yards with a new back tee and add 2 new forward tees with one on the other side of the creek. The new teeing layout and angling will be more in line with the variety of swing speeds across the membership. The fairway and the landing area is expanded left to direct your eye more to the left away from the right side corner, with a new sand bunker short left to provide needed balance and definition. An accurate drive is going to be needed if you desire to reach this green in 2, due to a series of 4 new sand bunkers added in the landing area. This is going to make the drive a true risk-reward for those who want to challenge the corner and go for the green. We'll also reshape the fairway to be cantered a bit from right to left with a bit of an upslope to get the balls to bounce left once they hit the ground. Those balls might just find those new bunkers. Finally, the bunker strategy around the second landing area and the green has been completely redesigned to again protect the shortest route to the green from the right, and to place a bit more thought and increased interest in laying up. The fairway is completely reshaped in this area, integrating varied slope lies, the removal of mounds, including the removal of that existing bunker on the left to open up the left side approach. A series of 2 new sand bunkers are added on the right to protect that approach from the right, and a small centerline bunker is added roughly 80 yards from the green just to keep things interesting. The green continues a left to right angle to which the hole currently bends, and is protected in the front by a sand bunker and shortgrass chipping areas to the right and then over the green. The green is planned to slope a bit to the left and away from the player, which should bring in a little more fun and strategy to the approach, and certainly the recovery shots. The high ball approach will work well here. I think you'll find this hole playing a bit more even among skill levels. The big hitter will be able to swing away, but my plan is to add more penalty if you don't pull off the shot. It's also a good match play hole, which I can see a variety of scores, including some big numbers if you're not careful. The 18th hole, our finishing par 4, is going to be epic. With options, drama, all come to mind when thinking of the finished product. This hole will look incredible from the tee and leave you with the feeling of wanting to get right back out on the course to take another spin around. I can't wait. The tee complex will be lowered maybe as much as 8 to 10 feet to make the tees fit a bit more naturally, accentuate the uphill nature of the hole, and make it play a few yards longer. New forward tees are added to open up a much better view of the hole and provide additional options for the slower swing speeds. Both the left and the right fairways will be expanded and exposed to provide the feeling of a true choice for which side to play the hole. Go to the right for a direct line, but be faced with more hazards and a narrow green. Play to the left for a more open landing area, but a longer, strategic approach to the green. Both playing options should be equally interesting and desirable, and further, this choice should be considered mostly by the pin location for the day. You'll notice a newly renovated creek feature and the removal of cart path. This will allow the natural topography to take the center stage and make the hole look and feel like it's been there for years. 2 sand bunkers protect the right fairway, and 2 more protect the left. The creek has been adjusted near the green to allow for balls to be hit much closer to the green, but will definitely come into play more. Now on to the green. This is a green I am most excited for, as this new design will be dramatic and allow for some really incredible pin locations and shot options. Since the length of the approaches aren't quite as long as I'd really like, I'm planning to make the putting surface the challenging aspect of this hole. The green is pushed back into the hillside a few yards to add a bit of length, but also to gain a few feet in elevation, further accentuating the uphill routing of the hole. A large fronting sand bunker is built into the green surface that will cause 2 large areas of the green to be flanked on either side, both on the left and on the right. Even though the entire green will be quite large, the different sections will make the surface play much smaller, depending on what side the pin is located. A series of 3 sand bunkers will be set into the hillside behind to introduce some visual deception of really how far back the green surface is. The depth will be harder to perceive from the right than the left. This is a hole of great interest and strategy, and is likely to be one that players talk much about after their round. My hope with this hole, as with all the others, is that the design and strategy will be what members will enjoy, respect, and be very proud of. It is with great honor and privilege that I offer these comments, and I look forward to watching Greg, Courtney, and especially Joseph bring them to reality. I think you all are absolutely going to love it. Thanks for listening.